welcome everyone in the special Christmas-themed episode just the day before Christmas Eve. And I'm joined by our multi-Christmas umbraCoffee guest, Rune. Hello, Rune.
Hello again,
How are
Marcin.
you
Happy
doing? Yeah.
holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody. It's a tradition now. That's a perfectly maintained tradition that you are joining us for the last episode before the end of the year. Because as usual, we love to summarize, dream about things, discuss things, and just chill out before this more peaceful, hopefully, and calm time of the year. How was your week?
It was good, really good. I would say almost surprisingly busy. I know a lot of people are very busy the last week or until Christmas, but usually it's a little bit more quiet at HQ. But we've actually had quite a few releases in the last week before Christmas as well this year. But that's what you get when you have a fixed release cadence and things like that.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
no way around it.
So,
yeah.
No excuses, right? Christmas is no excuse then.
Exactly.
But yeah, we were just talking before we went live that for me this year is a little bit different because usually today on 23rd I would be packing, traveling, and doing all of this crazy driving home for Christmas things. But now I'm on the hometown, so it's a more time for me to do other things. But of course it's the snow is gone, unfortunately, so the Christmas theme is a little bit different, but still it's a good time of the year, and then we're all looking forward
to it. It's the same
here.
Right? Last week was amazing. Everything was just covered in snow. It was beautiful. This week it's normal Danish winter, which is not that Christmassy actually.
But still. It's fine, exactly. It's December. So plan for today is, first of all, I will start with announcements for the umbraCoffies, because we, before even Callum left for the holidays, we decided that we will take 2 weeks of a break during the switch of the year. So this is the last episode this year, so there won't be an episode next week. And we also decided to skip the 6th of January to give us all more space to kick off the new year. So we will be back on 13th. So this is this will be a very unusual, and again, I can't remember if we've ever had 2 weeks break before.
So well deserved, I think.
But I will probably tune in automatically to Friday just in case, just to see if there's something maybe happening on YouTube at this time. But that's the first announcement, and of course the other one is that we will be summarizing what happened, of course, this week. And at the end of the episode, we want to discuss, generally highlight everything what happened maybe this year, what was good, what was maybe not that good, if there were any things like that, and what we are looking forward for the future. So the next 2023 year. And my plan is to open the access for the guests from the community at the end of the episode. So if there's anyone who is watching us right now and would like to say hi and wish Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to anyone else here, that there will be an opportunity for it, as we are open community and would love to see you guys here.
Nice.
So let's kick out. Let's start from 24 days in Umbraco, because we are almost over, unfortunately. Last week I was joined by an amazing part of the team from the 24 days. We were discussing about the platform, the changes, and everything what is there, and it looks like they've managed to deliver everything, and and the content is amazing this year. I haven't had a chance yet to catch up on everything, especially from this week, because it was crazy. And it's one big article every day is sometimes too much if we are not following it day by day. But Rune, have you been checking any content before or from the whole series? Any particular highlight from your side? Anything catch up your attention from this year?
The only one I've read to its full is the DXP one from Jeffrey and Glenn. Really good blog post. Otherwise, I haven't had time in December. It's been a crazy month.
That's true.
So, but the good thing about the 24 days in is that it's valid for the next couple of months as well, at the very least. So I'm looking forward to catching up on everything for sure.
Yeah.
And can I just say as well, I know you said that a couple of times last week, but kudos to the team for the excellent job. The quality of articles looks to be totally amazing this year. And then the whole packaging, like the new site looks fantastic. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's true, and it was been said multiple times, but it will be definitely said even more 100 times.
What about you? Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, I read
that might be a lot, but anything that you
yeah, definitely the articles that I've mentioned previously from Dennis on mentoring and mentorship, and again, I find the most useful things for myself recently, which is not purely technical, but more like maybe management, maybe some more human relations in our crazy IT industry. And this was one that I really liked, and feels on how to grow as an employee in the person was my highlight so far. But I didn't manage to read all of them yet, so that's my plan for the next week, to really catch up on this, have all the series packed up, and spend a proper day with 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and just go through it and learn. But I saw also Callum's article about running Umbraco anywhere, which is of course the result of his talks and discussions done through the year. Definitely will be interesting. And Paul's article about gamifying learning from Umbraco and his series of activities, amazing content and various content, which is always great to see. And yesterday, that's something what I wanted to note. I saw some people tweeting about this segmentation display for content, and it sounds interesting. I haven't checked the content of it, but just by the looking on the title, it looks like something what might be really good to read for us next week. So if people are following, and of course graphics, everything what was said last week, it's just an amazing package, and it will be a gift to give ourselves to just read it through the break, if it will be, of course, possible. And yeah, that's the 24 days in. And Rune, from your side, you were also busy collecting everything what happened, not only this week, but as a last product update from this year. Do you want to quickly maybe go through your overview and what you've summarized in this final update this year?
Yeah. I mean, it mostly relates to the last month, right? So we switched from bi-weekly to monthly product updates now. So it's pretty much what happened since the end of November, and as you can see, quite a lot has happened.
Yes.
We had the second major release of the year, Umbraco 11, which I know everyone here is super proud of it. It's such a solid release. It's so great to see, and it's a kind of a thing we need to get used to as well, making these major releases on a regular basis. It feels like a big thing, but they're actually not. I mean, it's almost like a minor release, Upgrade wise as well. It's easy to upgrade to, and it just looks really good. So I'm super proud of that one. And then everything that happened around Umbraco 11 with the new marketplace and the new documentation that were launched at the same time. I think are really great additions to the Umbraco ecosystem. The documentation platform is just so cool. I've already enjoyed using it, searching on it, and things like that. It's so much, such a big improvement from what we had before, and it's so much easier for the team to manage it as well. So it makes it easier for us to update documentation going forward. So really cool.
Yeah, I could just agree to that. And it was said even here, same as with 24 days, more kudos to everyone involved in this change. Because as I said last week, probably 2 weeks ago, that even if I feel dumber maybe or not, but I use it more often and I'm more happy as a platform to find information there. And it's easy to link it, easier to find, and generally more friendly to use, and the friendliness of this usage, it was always a goal from your side, from what I know, and that's amazing to see that it's also good for managing from the other side. So kudos again. Here.
And it looks like we're catching up on SEO as well with it. There were some challenges with us having duplicate documentation, from the old hour to the new one, but I think we've got it pretty much covered now. It is a bit of a transition. We can't just delete the old documentation yet.
Yeah, that's true. And there was a big, massive information on the top of the website that there's a new place for it. Look there, please. But that was really nice.
Yeah. And then for just while we're talking about Umbraco 11, I am so excited for the new grid editor, the block grid editor. It's really cool. And we also did I think it's linked in this blog post as well, but we did a deep dive, the first part of a deep dive blog post. I don't know if you saw that.
No, not yet. Yeah, but this was linked somewhere. I saw the information about the post, and definitely I checked the post, but I haven't seen this yet. But that's really nice.
I think it's under the first one there. If you scroll down a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I forgot to link to it.
No, there's nothing about diving here.
Anyways, it's a really great one. We did it for the blog list editor as well. We made a big, a really big blog post, just detailing everything for the blog list editor when we released that. And for the blog grid editor, we've done it a little differently. So we're dividing it up into a series of blog posts instead. Kind of the feedback we got was that it was a little overwhelming the last time, and it kind of seemed like people thought it sounded like a very complex editor to work with, which really isn't the case. It's as complex as you need it, right? And it's the same with the grid. It's quite easy to get something quite simple up and running, but you can then customize it quite a lot. So we've started out with the basics, and then over the next 2 or 3 blog posts, we're going to really dive into all the customization options.
Yeah, but I can also say that when it comes to this new particular feature, there's a lot of general content about this. And there was Niels doing a demo, even with us in umbraCoffee. There was some talks done by various HQ members and community members amongst the festivals and meetups. There will be this series of blogs, and also it's followed up by the documentation that is also described.
Really thorough documentation on this one as well.
Yeah. So that's why I think, even though it's complicated because it can do a lot of things, it's us and the people who configures it defines what level of complication is needed there. So that's a lot of content, a lot of information to relate to, which should be a good driver to really use it more often too.
Exactly, and that was actually also a big part of the process of. Like it was in the 10.3 release candidate, and we got a lot of feedback on it. And part of this was also simplifying the configuration of it, because what we'd done initially was also quite overwhelming. There was just all the configuration in one screen, and like it was just a lot. So we worked a lot on kind of simplifying that as well. So you got what is required to set up in the beginning, and then you can kind of go through different tabs and go to the more advanced things in there. Right?
So, but that was also something what some of the people who started working with the grid and had some overview of the block list previously were missing. They were saying, there was a property for custom view somewhere here, right? As it is there, but it's in the second tab. And then tabs, right? So that might be really something new, and again, it's simplified the way of working with it, but it also requires people to get used to these ways of working.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And maybe to finalize this topic, also you've merged this back to 10.4, right? That's correct when it comes to the grid.
Yes. Yesterday we did what I hope is the final releases of the year. 2 release candidates out for 11.1 and 10.4, and it's true the block grid editor is available in Umbraco 10 with the release.
Nice.
And actually, Sebastian did an amazing job here, because 11.1 is looking to be a really great release. There's so many cool features in there, and he pretty much managed to merge everything back down into 10. So on January 12th, there will be pretty much feature parity between Umbraco 10 and the 11. So I think that's really cool. And I think everyone currently on Umbraco 10 will be really happy with that as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to just highlight this post because it highlights every change, major change, of course, what is worth to be listed here, with the new features like maintenance page, drag and drop support for media pickers, everything what is there. And I second what you've said, with the amount of work being placed in this small release is making it a lot better already.
It's almost more. The minor releases are almost more exciting than the major releases, because the cool features are in there usually. I know the block grid was in the last one, but still, it's looking really good. And it's just really useful things like the maintenance page. It's something you could argue should have been in Umbraco a while ago, but it's just so cool to see it in there, and it's fully customizable. It's the same concept as the 404 pages, right?
Nice.
So you have this maintenance page when Umbraco is in an upgrade state that requires migration. So before you would get redirected to the back office, but now you actually get a proper maintenance page and you can customize that. So
yeah, that's what a lot of customers will definitely like, and agencies that are not exposing the update scripts after maybe automated upgrades or something like that. That's the small things that can make big differences again.
And then I just love that it works almost the same as the 404 page. So it's something that people are used to working with. It's the same concept.
Yeah, that's really great. That's great, and of course some updates to roadmaps as well, with a lot of things to be highlighted. A lot of things done as well.
Not so many or not any new things actually in December. Planning wise, I think you're going to see quite a lot of new things coming at the beginning of the new year. But we've kind of focused on finishing things off with all the many releases here. So they've been moved to the roadmap history page, and then I also highlighted the announcements repository because there's actually already some deprecation announcements for Umbraco 13. So if you click on the issues tab up there in the top, you can see these are things that are deprecated now and will be removed in Umbraco 13. I think the bottom ones are for 11, so we need to get those cleared.
Okay, yeah, that's really nice. I wasn't even knowing about the existence of this, but that's the great way of communicating it, and
it really is. Again, it's just concise and precise information here, and you can subscribe to the repository as well, right? So you get the notifications directly in your inbox if you want that.
Nice.
So I think that's really great.
Yep, so cool. So that's the 2022 and the last month of activity. And also in the same blog post, you've linked to the CMS trends that were shared by some of the members amongst the Umbraco community, agency land, and then also Kim itself. So there was a lot of good highlights. I don't want to spoil them, but just invite people to really read through some of the thoughts really about from the various leaders, CEOs, CTOs, and people who are working with the CMSs in general. And I think there is a lot of great stuff for those who have seen also Andy's talks and people who are doing some talks on partner summits recently. There's a lot of trends that might be, and again, might not be a future in the next year for all of us. So check it out. Check it out.
It's things that can help guide us in the right direction and what to focus on, right? So I think it's really valuable. And then I also linked to the New Year's reception at the bottom. Which is coming in January as
16th? 16th?
If I'm correct. Probably something like that.
I closed the link, but
I just linked.
But the link is there, and everyone can subscribe and register for the discussion. Yeah, it's on January 10th.
January 10th
on 16th. On 4 p.m.
At 16 o'clock.
So that's cool. So let's quickly recap what also other people did in the last week. You've mentioned Marketplace. I love it, to be honest. Again, another platform that I really like to use recently, because every recently added updated package is really well listed here. There's a clear overview of what has done there. And this week, there was a couple of the new stuff placed here, starting from the AWS S3 media file system provider that helps us to imitate the normal paths to the media, but host medias on the AWS, same as it was with the Azure file system provider. Cool work by Adam, and it's available and updated to the recent version this week. Algolia package that was also mentioned in your blog post, right? The Algolia integration.
Exactly.
So huge search provider, very popular amongst multiple clients now. Possible to be integrated with Umbraco with this package released by Umbraco.
It just makes it really easy to hook up and start indexing Umbraco content with in Algolia indexes, right? And then they have great SDKs, so you can install those, and when you need to render anything from them, then you've got a nice hook there. It's actually quite simple, and then it's got a really nice dashboard for the back office as well. So kind of like what you know from Examine, you can inspect your indexes, and you can even define content, like the schema, how you want content to be indexed by Algolia. So really nice work from Adrian from HQ as well.
Nice. So are these screenshots available in the blog post that is linked for Algolia? Yeah,
exactly.
That's where we can see, and then maybe then we can think about uploading them here just to get an overview, because I was
that might be a thing to think about. Yeah. That'd be nice.
just as a feedback.
Pretty bare bones.
But that's what we also did with some of the package creators recently on how to improve general look and feel, because by the look on the package you cannot easily see what it does sometimes, right? And you need to
and just to mention with the Algolia one, the dashboard is actually built using the UUI library.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
It's not only good inspiration, like it's good if you want to use Algolia for search purposes. It's also good inspiration for integrating with external services, and it's really great inspiration if you want to update your package or start a new package using the UUI library, because that's already shipped with Umbraco since 10.3, I think. So we can start using that now, and it has a really good example of how to use that in the repository there. So that's really nice. Really great package overall.
Yeah. And my mouse stopped working now, which is interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
The question is, will I be able to continue with this episode then, or I will need to open my laptop? But I will probably open my laptop soon. But yeah, we have two more packages to be mentioned. Three. One of them is Matthew's feature flags that he was talking about a while ago already regarding the work there, and it's now released, available on the marketplace, so everyone can check it out. And last was Open AI extension. That is really interesting. So in the trends of AI, Chat GPT and everything else like that, there is a package that creates a content app in Umbraco in which we can generate some AI content for the given phrases. So give me 1 second. I should open my laptop. And I will be able to navigate there, hopefully. So. This is why we are live.
Yep, that's it. It's getting late in the year when you run out of batteries, right? I think you need a break.
I must say that I had this notification somewhere that my trackball is getting out of the battery, but I didn't, of course, predict that it will happen live on YouTube stream. But that's live. But yeah, I have my touch point right now. So yeah, feature flags from Matt. Definitely check it out. Also, Matthew was doing a lot of talks about it, and there is a great video recording of the talks about it as well from the UK. And this OpenAI extension that I want to mention. So OpenAI connection to the OpenAI APIs, and we can put some phrases, content, and process it from back office. Again, maybe to generate content. We can talk about future in a while, but who knows if the content won't be written by the Chat GPT or OpenAI soon. You never know, right? That's something what we can talk about in a second. And last but not least, just to mention also another upgrade to Examine released by Shannon this week. It was in the beta. Now it was released officially. So it's really nice to see, and some help from the community arrived also to do some clever upgrades out there.
Yeah,
and a really nice upgrade that I wanted to show. Twitter has now the information about the views of the tweet. so
that's interesting.
Elon is doing some crazy work there. It looks like so.
I mean, a lot of them we don't know how long it will be there, right? It might be gone tomorrow. Who knows?
So please enjoy, see, analyze. But that's true. But yeah, that was release wise, and I think now we can stop by and think about some highlights maybe of the year.
There's one more thing I'd like to highlight. Release-wise, because we did release Umbraco Workflow last week.
Yes, well. we mentioned it on the last week.
I covered that in the product update as well, and we did an unboxing video this week.
Yes,
I think, or Friday maybe. I can't even remember now, but we did an unboxing video for that as well. And again, kudos to Nathan for building a great, like Plumber was already a great package, but all the work he's put in for workflow and for getting it up to speed on Umbraco 11 is amazing. It's such a solid and useful product.
Yeah, we also checked the product page on umbraco.com, and it's well clear described what is the licensing, and there is a free tier, right, of Umbraco workflows. That was something what was mentioned, and we've figured it out, which is again one less excuse to not use it, because especially for some testing purposes, some explorations, and I must say that after using some other CMSs, this became more natural to think about it. Like, okay, if there is a big organization, there are some PIM systems where people have specific workflows of doing things. Something lands on someone's desks, goes further. So it's definitely a scenario to explore. And now, if it's now I understand why it was great to have it close to Umbraco, because now it will be more exposed. More people will see these opportunities, and hopefully more people will use it.
Exactly, and it is because we've simply seen a big rise in this as a requirement for a lot of the larger projects, enterprise projects that are being done out there. Workflows are just a requirement there, right? And it is quite a generous free tier. Most of the features are actually available in there. And then one of the things that I think we'll actually start using it internally for umbraco.com as well is a thing that's new for workflow is content refresh reminders or content review reminders, right? So you can say every 6 months or every 3 months, this part of the trust center, for example, for compliance reasons, we need to make sure that this is up to date, right? And then we can set up notifications and things like that. For content.
We've done a lot of custom implementations to achieve this particular feature in the past, and now it's just
seriously exactly. And with workflow, you just install it and then you can start configuring it. It is so easy to get up and running. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. So coming back to other highlights, did you have? Do you have anything? What was your top observation, maybe, or anything what sticks with you for the whole year?
Oh, I mean, it's been a long year in many senses. A lot of changes has happened, but I think one of the big highlights for me was Code Garden, a proper live event with a lot of wonderful community people, and it's been I think 3 years since I attended Code Garden last, more maybe. So it was just totally fantastic to be back, and it felt like Code Garden again. That was just really nice, you know.
Indeed, with all the doubts and also people who felt like it won't be ever a same good as it was in the past, but all the doubts were away basically when everyone was in the one place. That's great. Yeah,
and we're already full on. We're already full on planning for next year. It's going to be
we've mentioned.
Better, bigger, more awesome. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights from my side too. And I think to maybe extend your overview, events in general, again, in real life events and conferences. We were back on track with these festivals. Some of the events happened both with the Dutch festival, UK, Umbraco Together. People started to be back, and finally we were able to predict a little bit in the future without being disrupted and destroyed by the regulations, limitations, and everything that was making it harder.
It's been really great. But aside from that, I already mentioned the release cadence, but I think shipping 2 major releases and everything going so incredibly smoothly. We even did one during Code Garden. So that was just really great to see. I think it shows how we've matured as a company, the way we ship our releases. And I'm super proud of that. Also of the communication around it, of course, because that's what I'm really involved in, right? But it's really nice to see how things are evolving. that side.
Yeah. And again, I can't agree more, to be honest. And here I'm sharing the big kudos from the community and agencies and everyone who was benefiting from this particular release cadence improvements. It was just stable. If I would be referring to the code names or phrases from the coding industry, it was just stable. It was predictable. Yeah. It was like not many surprises and things like that. That was very, very easy to relate to as well. And I was doing this seminar as well with your teammates, and that was just seen from the outset as well. Customers and companies can just easily go there and see that this is happening, this is not happening, this is going end of life, and probably end of life would be my keyword for this year as well, because since we started talking about end of life, it became a thing as well from around the Umbraco sphere, right? Because previously it wasn't that obvious that some tools are getting end of life, but they were. Now it's more structurized, and it's. Yeah.
And it also we didn't have too much of a policies around it, because we didn't know when the next major was coming out, right? So it was hard to kind of say when the current one would be end of life. But now we know, and it's also it's just based on that we're following Microsoft's support policies, right? So it doesn't really make sense for us to have longer support for CMS versions where the framework is end of life. So we have to do that, or we have to support way more than we want to, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's looking to work quite well. Of course, there are some interesting hurdles to come. At the end of next year, we have a pretty big version coming out. At least the new back office is targeted for Umbraco 13, which is December of 2023, and that is a big major release, right? So that can have an impact on it. But other than that, I think it's looking it's really nice, predictable, easy to understand.
Yeah. So that's if we are talking about 2023, is this something what will be your maybe not a key focus, because obviously we will be doing a lot of smaller, bigger things around everywhere. But is this a destination, or if you would need to pick one thing from 2023 that will be maybe not a top priority, but one of the main focuses, what would it be?
It's really hard to pick one. we have several things that we focus on.
So at least 100. Can I 100 of them. 100.
I have two, and back office is one of them. I think it's going to be it's going to be for the kind of for the back office, and for the Umbraco front end. What the .NET Core and Unicore project was for .NET and the back end of Umbraco. And we can see the impact that it's had, right? It's so fantastic to be on new technology, not being behind. It's also a great selling point for Umbraco that we're actually our own relevant technology. Like everyone from students to seasoned developers get excited about being able to use the if not the latest, then at least relevant technologies, right? So I think that's really great, and that's what we're going to do with the back office as well. So I'm really looking forward to it, and there will be a lot more about this in the new year. There's a lot of work going on right now, and it's very exciting, and it's so cool you can really start to feel the buzz around it now in the D team, in the development team, because it's really starting to come together. So it's incredibly exciting. So that's one. Of the biggest one. And then the second one is the new CI/CD we've got coming up for Umbraco Cloud. That's going to be a game changer. I really think it's really exciting, and there'll also be a lot more updates on that in the new year as we are ramping up to launch that. I think that's going to be massive So those are the kind of the two of the things I'm really looking forward to. But I mean, there's so much more to look at.
small top of the list. But yeah, I completely understand that. But I think that's exactly what I wanted to also mention, because Umbraco Cloud, Umbraco Hardcore, both of these products are evolving constantly and changing and making also your team, and that's also another kudos to be shared. Reach out to the agencies, to the developers, to people, listen to their feedback, why they are using, why they are not using this or that, and they've listened, and then some of these features are the results of the very many discussions that they've had with a lot of people. And I think for me personally, looking more at these products as a part of the workflows, or generally when they are really winning, to be, or where they should be chosen, or where they shouldn't, will be something what I want to do more, because this year I was working with cloud with one product only, but all of the other great updates that happened were just missed. But from my perspective, at least, that's why I wanted to catch up. And another thing which I want to highlight is still this headless thing, because I've spent this year probably hearing about headless more than I ever heard in the whole career. There's a lot of buzz on that one. There is a lot of CMSs that are doing it already. There is a lot of work that your teams place already in the hardcore headless, and we know that there will be these transitions of the headless APIs to be exposed in the core CMS, which makes me feel very, very excited, because we will see more of these headless solutions, and we'll see if they are really winning or making that big impact and change for the industry, or if the good old way of doing things is also good in some of the cases, right? Because that's something what we need to compare more often, I would say.
I mean, I think there's room for both approaches, right? There are projects where a headless approach makes so much sense, and even where a SaaS solution like hardcore is the best way to go, right? But then there's definitely other projects where it just makes sense to have a more not necessarily a monolith, right? But you kind of have a more anchored content management with the website tightly integrated with that side of things, right? But I mean, I think it's going to be, the lines are going to be blurred a bit more going forward between what is headless and what is not, because one of the big topics of 2022 as well, a little ode to Callum, now that he's not here, but CDXP was a big buzzword, right? But I think it's actually a valid point here as well, that we don't really do monoliths anymore. Most people don't anyways. You are always integrating with something. Umbraco is not the only thing that you do anymore. You are integrating with something else, or you're sending your Umbraco content to somewhere else. So I think this kind of headless, not headless thing is I don't think it's something people are going to talk that much about in the future. It's just whether you're using content in one place or another, and whatever you need for the project, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And I agree. And I think that the only thing that we need to do right now is to validate it and see more of it in the real life, because then we'll all see it materializing.
And that'll come, like for some are already really seasoned in using a headless approach because they've had the requirement, and for others it's just not been a thing that they've needed yet. They've heard a lot about it. It's like, oh, it's interesting, it sounds good, but if you don't need to expose your content through an API and consume it somewhere else, why would you do it?
Why would you have a
completely why would you have a completely separated front end if you don't need that now? Like, that's something you can do in the future if you need to, right? So there is these kind of, it depends on what a project needs, and sometimes that is headless from the get-go, other times it's not. And
I was going to say that it all depends, as we usually see that, but we'll see more of this in the future. And now I will open the access for some people from the community if they want to join us. Why not to? But is there anything else? Do you follow the trend of this AI, ChatGPT things and stuff like that? Do you feel like it's something what might help you somehow, because I saw, just to share some more context, I saw a lot of copywriters, for example, using this to find out or inspire by what can be found in the web, basically on the specific topics. Some people are generating images, like we've said, that on 24 days, and not to look in the Free Peak or any other providers with the images. Do you feel like it is something what might improve or help you in your job somehow?
I mean, I'm sure it is. It looks. I've only seen what I've seen on social media and stuff like that. I haven't tried it out myself. I really don't. I mean, again, it's one of those things that I'm aware of, but I don't really need it in my life right now. So I think it sounds exciting. It's impressive what it can do, but it's not. I don't really have a need for it right now. Yeah. So I'm kind of agnostic on it at the moment. But for sure, it's something that's going to have a massive impact. And I think even for like programming wise, I think it was Dan Booth who asked ChatGPT to write a unit test for a piece of code, and it just did. It's like, okay, that's pretty awesome, So there's definitely some insane potential in there, and I think also Microsoft has done. Like some of that, at least with GitHub and their what is it called, workspaces or whatever. There's some AI programming stuff in there as well. I think. I don't know how useful it is yet, but it's interesting.
I can say I spent some time with my friend who is a tech lead in one of the UK's companies, and he was very not convinced by the powers of AI, to say it politely. He was always neglecting this. He was not interested in it. But since he started using the Copilot Copilot extension in the Visual Studio Code, and started generating some code on the fly, just as a block, just as an example, just to again have a shelf of, as you've mentioned, unit test. Write me a unit test class for this and that. Then you fill it with your real data. That speeds up a lot, and until the data will be relevant and helpful, really, that should be really a help. I use it sometimes to generate some email contents, and I found some stuff like, okay, generate polite reply to that you won't be able to attend this and that. Boom, polite reply, add some humor. Boom, added some humor, right? So that's for someone who doesn't speak the foreign language that often or wants to do some cool stuff, like generate this reply in Danish. Boom, done, right?
That's really awesome, and I totally see that, and especially with the programming side of things. But I guess that goes for copywriting as well. It's really interesting that you can get this head start, or it's almost like having a snippet, like copying that from Stack Overflow or from a piece of documentation, right? And that does a lot of what you need, and then you could go in and tweak it to be perfect or do exactly what you want, right? And I guess that goes for copywriting as well. I do a lot of copywriting, so for me it feels a little bit like cheating. I maybe for research purposes, if I were to write about something I don't know that much about, it could be a help, but I don't know. I'd rather learn myself actually, and then I don't know, feel more in control of the messaging and what are actually the reasons for putting these pieces of content in, or phrasing it this way, things like that. That doesn't mean to say that it's not valuable, and I totally see the value in it. But right now, for me, I'd rather be an old angry man.
No, you are honest with yourself, and that's important.
Anything to do with technology.
But I think it will be used by a lot of people who will use it for the more shady approaches, right? It's like spam or things like that, which is right now going to be improved by AI, right? So that's
totally.
where it might be dangerous, right?
You can totally see scripts being written where you can just plug in names and position and all of these things that you then send off to an AI thing, and then you get a really valuable piece of content that seems like someone has really written something directly to you, and that's scary. Let's just say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worse than deepfake, I would say, because it's actually something that it's here now. Deepfake is still fake, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Coming back to CMS land, I would say my kind of approach to the CMSs for 2023 is maybe a little bit different, because I feel like we'll be more dealing with content structures rather than content implementations. So especially maybe as a relation to this headless approaches, APIs and things like that, because the more important will be how data are connected with each other instead of how they are gathered.
It's true, and it's a really interesting and tricky kind of area that we also actually working with that in a sense at HQ, because we're looking at how to make content based on element types reusable in Umbraco in a good way. There's a lot of use cases for that, but it gets really interesting to figure out how do you then store this content in a good way. How do you define what content should be maintained in one place, but then that means that it'll be updated everywhere, right? Which sometimes is good, but sometimes it's pretty scary, you know. And what should live in specific places. It's really, really interesting. And as with everything, I don't think there's one good answer for it. It really depends on what you're doing and the requirements of the content you're working with, right? But having different options for how to structure it is a big thing, and I think we're going to make some big strides in Umbraco in that sense as well.
But that's great that we are facing the same challenges as everyone else, basically with this content modeling. But that's something what I feel will be.
No, I think you're right.
Often.
Definitely.
Do you think, is there anything else? And do you have any wishes for the 2023 when it comes to Umbraco or CMSs or yourself?
I mean, a lot of what I have is on the roadmap already, on the wish list.
Just to deliver what is on the roadmap.
I mean, I think that would be a huge success, right? Also quite doable. But we have some big projects in the works, and being able to execute on them, and have really good collaboration with the community and partners on all the new features, and getting good uptake. Like what a big part of being successful for me is that we can ensure that most Umbraco projects are running on the latest versions, and that it's easy to upgrade and to keep up to date. I think like part of that is the way we do our releases, but also what we can offer with Umbraco Cloud in terms of automatic upgrades, scheduled upgrades, which is on the calendar as well. Things like that that'll just make it easier with all of these releases coming, all of these patches. That it is easier and easier to do these upgrades. Some of them you can say I want this just to be automatic, or you can say I want it to be done in this time frame or whatever. But having everyone on the latest version, being able to benefit both from all the insane amount of work that's going on in the .NET world from Microsoft, right? But also all the work that we do here. I think if we can get closer to everyone being on latest or second to latest version, then I think we've come a really, really long way. So I think that would be a massive success.
Yeah. So generally, to slowly wrap it up as well, I think the keyword of the 2022 will be also an update.
Because that's update all the things.
but one thing is interesting, and that's something what I captured last week. That of course we are all talking about end of life of V7. There's a lot of clients who reach out for help, for support, and how they should work it out. What are the opportunities? But then we've realized that end of life of Umbraco 9 is just now, right? It's if I'm correct, it's also the end of this year that the V9 is getting.
I think it is end of life.
Yeah. So
December 16.
Maybe that was the 16th that I remembered.
Yeah, 2 weeks after 11, I think.
Yeah, but that's something what also a lot of people might not be aware of, right? And that's why this chart, this whole beautiful sequence of version supports is important to rely on, because of course we will see a lot of updates, migrations, and it's easier to migrate from V9 to V10, from V10 to V11, and V7 is always this kind of challenger that it's not that easy, unfortunately. But I think like the next year, especially until the September, when the big bang will happen, and we discussed it on the summer notes that there won't be big bang, nothing will explode, but everyone will be aligning to that. And I think like it will be interesting to see, because from my perspective, at least as someone who is responsible for a lot of solutions with Umbraco, there will be a lot of exciting migrations, new builds, and maybe some different takes to some projects, and that's always interesting to see, because hopefully we will see more of the great Umbraco implementations in overall on the latest and greatest versions.
This is also something we're going to talk a lot about in the beginning of the new year. The ending life cycle of Umbraco 7, and how we can help out with that, how our partners can help out with that. It's also an opportunity for everyone working with Umbraco, because there will be quite a lot of projects that needs upgrading, and then there'll probably be quite a lot of projects that will be staying on Umbraco 7, just like there's a lot of projects that's still on Umbraco 6, Umbraco 4,
or before.
so yeah, of course there's a ton of things to take into consideration there, but there's definitely a lot of projects that need to upgrade, right? So there's some interesting opportunities there as well, for sure.
Definitely. It will be an interesting year, and I don't think anyone will join us. So the link was there, the opportunity was there. No more Macs to be given out than this year. That's good, because Santa might not arrive on time. But yeah, Rune, thank you very much for today. I think it was a great year. If we would need to wrap it up, the very strange, very crazy, very fast year as well, but interesting in overall. And we can just wish each other to have at least the same, but maybe with less crazier approaches to some of the things in the 2023, but more accomplishments, more successes than losses.
Hopefully a little bit more what you say, like normal, not as many outside things that affect us.
Exactly.
Like pandemics and stuff like that. So that would be nice.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, for all of you great Umbraco people watching us live or watching us later on, have a lovely break and entrance to the 2023. As I've mentioned, there is a 2 weeks break from umbraCoffees, so you can also rest from us for a while. We can also try to rest for doing something else, but we'll see each other on January 13th, straight after the updates already from your side and releases, from if I'm correct. So we will definitely have something to talk about, and you can also supply us with some things to talk about. And yeah, celebrate, do more of the crazy things, stay healthy, enjoy the break, and come back next year with the new forces.
Exactly. And remember to sign up for the New Year's reception. It's going to be awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, have a great Christmas break, everyone. I will try to use my mouse again. It doesn't work. Yeah, thank you, Rune, again for joining us today.
Thank you, Marcin.
Enjoy the break, everyone, and see you next year, everyone. Bye.
Happy holidays.